So today we're going to be showing the Derwent Edge route. So we're starting off in the car park and you walk over the short bridge and you're immediately met by the Derwent Dam. Absolutely incredible piece of architecture. You need to know a little bit about the history. Built at the turn of the century, and then it was used in the Second World War as bombing practice for the German dams, basically. There was a movie made, you'll be able to find that, Dam Busters. It's just absolutely incredible. I've been here before, but the water wasn't flowing, let alone the beautiful snow. So whilst this is a hiking video, so I'm not going to go too long into the architecture, you can't just stop and be amazed by it. It's massive. You have to be careful though. Whilst I want to put the drone up in the air, there are loads of signs over in the car park saying no drone flight, no drone flight. However, I have taken a look, and the CAA regulations, there's no airspace restrictions at all. And when I look at the National Trust, they only care that you're careful around the wildlife, and it's basically the private landowners that don't want you taking off or landing on their land. So we can get the drone up in the air, but we've got to be very, very careful that we don't launch or land the drone on any private land. So let's get a better look at this. So I'm probably really out of focus here because I'm this close to the camera. One thing I absolutely love of an item that came out this year is this tiny little drone that fits in my pocket. It's following me along. It doesn't even have a controller. It's just fully AI. It's great. So it looks like someone's out filming with me, but I am on my own. Brilliant. And the fact that it goes in my pocket, phenomenal. So here's our route today. We've started off at the car park and headed to the dam. As you can clearly see, we've already shown plenty of that. We're going to move along the reservoir now, which we've already shown up to. And then we're here at the moment, and then we're going to head uphill. It's quite a steep incline there. It's quite wavy. Then we're going to move along this back wall and then head to one more hill before we reach the top. It's then this lovely, picturesque, gorgeous walk all along the top of Derwent Edge, going through some stunning rock formations. And then eventually, when we get to the end there, we pass a feature called Coach and Horses, which is a rock formation they call locally. We're going to turn right, head downhill. This incline is a lot less steep, so as you walk along the edge, you could potentially see a lot of people coming in the reverse direction in which I did. As you clamber down and get back to the reservoir, there's a really nice just gravel road leading you all the way back to the car park. So if you are completely knackered from that walk, this is a nice little finish on a ultimately paved road. Then back to the car park, off you head home. However, we're going to get back to where we were. We're going to come across here, back along the reservoir, and rejoin us at this corner before we're about to head up. So now we've done our walk along the reservoir, we're now going to take a right and head uphill. It's quite steep elevation. I have done it before. It was the first time I've ever filmed anything. I was following another hiker. Never knew what I was letting myself in for. Carried every piece of filming equipment I owned in a bag bigger than this. Equipment heavier than you could imagine. And I think it's 538 meters up to back tour. but in a very short space, so the elevation is quite steep. So luckily I thought a bit more strategically today, and I bought a lot less kit than I did 4 or 5 years ago, so it should be easier getting up there. Let's go. Oh look, little Robin came to say hello. Oh, he's gone. There's obviously a lot of snow melt, because that's the footpath. Looks like it might be a soggy one up there. Still going upwards. If I remember correctly, there's a little bit over that ridge and then there's one more hill, and then you're basically at the top. But I did actually lose the path for a bit and ended up coming across that way. So that was interesting, but that's one hell of a steep climb. What's that? Again, when you get to the top, 538 meters, and there's not far to go. But I've got to stop stopping. It's the winter. You only get about 6 hours of daylight, and I keep stopping just to, well, why wouldn't you? Absolutely incredible, and I'm not even at the top yet. The other thing I've chosen to do is bring along a massive cinema camera to carry up a mountain. And I don't know if any of you know what Blackmagics are like, but the battery lasts about 20 minutes, so you need to bring like 10 just to get a day's worth of filming. So yeah, having to stop as well, change over the battery isn't really helping, but got that bit to go. A little bit more after that, because that's a bit of a false summit, and then we should be on this long flat bit at the top then, where all the really nice rock formations are. It's not got any easier, and what I've discovered is if you actually stick to the path, you end up sinking thigh deep, whereas if you kind of walk on the bushes you end up about shin deep. So I'm just picking the worst of two evils, and I know I'll actually be on the footpath very shortly, so I know this won't go on for much longer, so catch my breath in a second. Finally found the first bit of solid ground in probably about 3/4 of a kilometre. I'm absolutely knackered walking through knee deep snow. But what I'm hoping is now I'm on this final section of path before I get to the top, that this will be a lot more solid. But you're stuck between that catch-22 of there's only that to go on the ascent, and then along the top will be absolutely fine. There's a rock pathway, you already know that's there. It'll be a lot easier, but if that stretch is anything like what that stretch was, then it's going to be absolutely horrific, and the thoughts of turning around and just going back are definitely in the head. But when it's only that far, and then it's just a straight walk across the top, you just want to keep pushing, don't you? But my shins are absolutely freezing, and I'm very, very tempted to put on the rain trousers with the fleece inside. We'll push on and see how we get on. But yeah, definitely a water break for now. Switched over to the action camera now because I want to give myself a rest from the big ass camera, and I'm going to continue following that trail. I remember from the first time I walked up here that I just have to go alongside. I don't know if the action camera will show you, but there's a wall along there, and I remember that I have to walk alongside that wall. I am using OS Maps. I've got the downloaded the offline version, and
I'm too poor because I spend all my money on camera gear to buy the Garmin, so it's connected to my Apple Watch, but that's not telling me the map. I have to keep pulling my phone out and seeing where I'm going, but I'm on the right track. I'm just literally walking along the wall at the moment because it's finally some solid ground. So I'm sure it has its own slippery treachery along with it, but right now it's the most solid ground to walk on, so that's what I'm using. Sure, I used to work at Garmin. During lockdown, that was my job. I'm normally in events, and I'm not going to go too far into my personal life. But as I'm sure you can imagine, during lockdown, events were all over. And I lived in Southampton at the time, which is where Garmin is based. So in Southampton at the time, which is where Garmin is based. And yeah, I worked in their returns and repair department. Probably should fire out an email to an old friend and see what I can get. But right now the Apple Watch seems to be doing all right. It tells me what I'm doing. Phone tells me where I am. But my memory is also helping too. Anyway, I'm going to get that hill done. I'm on that last 50, 60 meters, but it is up that way. Quite lucky in the sense that I've just traversed through that moor in further knee-deep snow. It's absolutely killed me. But the only people I've seen the entire time so far were about probably 800 meters in front of me, and I've just watched them go up this last bit. And two of them, one really struggled. You must have seen they had to sit down constantly, and I can see the footprints now. They are so deep. But the other one traversed up this like he was some kind of Arctic fox. like he weighed half a gram. So luckily, now that I'm trying to tackle this, there's one set of really deep footprints, and then there's one set of footprints about that deep. So luckily, I'm able to just follow the really shallow footprint. So whilst that is insanely steep, the person who has just gone up before me has made it a little bit easier, which is, if the person who went before me ever watches this video, thank you. It's done. That 100 meters has quite simply probably cost me about 45 minutes in time to walk 100 meters. Okay, uphill in snow. That was tough.
So whilst I'm babbling away here, I haven't realised that the battery's run out on my receiver to the microphone. So that's why it's sat in complete silence. You're not missing out on anything important. I'm just whinging about how beautiful everyone's jet boils look on the mountaintops, and I've only got the thermos bottle that I've brought because I always need the space in the camera bag and it saves a touch of weight. So there's not too much you're missing out on here with this one. However, whilst we're having a battery issue on the microphone, another battery issue is about to happen that I didn't foresee. And then to add insult to injury, whilst I'm moaning about another battery issue and having to fish round in the snow to pick up a lost drone because the battery ran out after about 2 minutes of flight, the receiver is still completely blank and there is no audio being picked up. But in essence, I'm just whinging that I brought 3 drones and I don't dare fly 2 of them again. One, because the battery's completely died, and whilst it can be on charge in my backpack, I don't dare risk that again. And I also brought FPV drones, which is another type of drone. I'll insert some footage I shot previously on haystacks. And these drones fly incredibly, however the batteries only last 5 minutes on them. So if a 20-minute battery is dying after 2 minutes, there was no way I was risking putting another drone up with only a 5-minute battery life on it. So that's all I'm whinging about here. Now we'll get back to the parts with the audio. I shot on action cameras, and you'll have to bear with me. We pretty much stick with the action camera for the rest of it because I realised the battery's gone on the microphone.
Oh, a bit more snow. Jesus, knee deep again. That's not fun. So yeah, Trig's up there. I've just had such a klutzy 2 minutes. Unbelievable. So I crashed my drone, what, 15 minutes ago? I've just had to run trying to find that in the snow, which is a nightmare. I managed to lose my gloves out of my pocket while running around trying to do that. So they're now exposed. I've got pockets for that, I'll cope. Jesus. I've just put my rucksack on as well, and the pin to my watch has snapped. So now my watch is in my pocket, which is great. And and that just happened. And my feet are absolutely soaked. Yeah, so really klutzy 10 minutes there. So yeah, no watch. Well, it's in my pocket, luckily not lost. No gloves. Drone crashed. Fucking hell. I've definitely fallen into a rock pool of some sort, because my feet and legs up to my knees are now absolutely soaked, and it was pure mud that I pulled out of the snow. So yeah, that's not good. They're not freezing, but hey. However, these rock formations, again, it's like whenever stuff like that happens, you just think, oh, why am I here? What am I doing? And then you just see the views and you see things like these rocks, and all of a sudden you're reminded why you came, why you did this, why you've climbed and done all of that to just see them. See, there it is, and that is one hell of a treacherous climb. I am not doing that. For the same reason I didn't touch the trig, I'm not going to go climbing on them. But these rocks are so damn beautiful. Everything from the tiny little icicles. Again, I'll try and zoom in on it in post and upscale the image a little bit. But you know, as soon as you move over there, that's treacherous and that's falling. So we're not going to do that. We're going to stick to this sort of path. But just incredible, absolutely incredible. And I love that over this entire walk now, and we'll have to do it by phone because my watch is in my bag, dead. Well, not dead, but the pin's broke. What is it now? 4 miles left of an 11 miler. So we're definitely way over halfway. And yeah, it says it's going to be, what, an hour, 50 minutes, but that's assuming it's not snowing, I'm guessing. But yeah, I'm probably not going to get the drone out. We know the battery's dead. We've already seen a bit of the scenery. I'll try and film what I can, but yeah, I think this is more of a case now of getting back before daylight runs out. While I'm on this absolutely epic spot, and I know there's just amazing cliff edge down there. I filmed it before in better weather, so I've got to try. And my drone was actually 75% charged, so I was like, wicked, get out there, get a quick one in, no problem. But it wouldn't take off because the battery had to warm up. So I was literally, I've never had a warm the drone up or warm the battery up warning before, but yeah, it certainly wasn't worth the risk. So we've got a few bits of scenery, and I'd have loved to have done more drone shots. As I said, I've got 3 drones with me, but I guess it wasn't to be. I don't mind putting that little one up to follow me, and you can kind of see a bit more scenery around me, because that drone only cost me 150 quid brand new, not trying to sell anything. So you don't really care if you lose that, and it stays within really close proximity with you as well, because it's got no controller, you can't control what it does, so it always stays within like 5 meters of you anyway, and it never really flies at a height that I can't leap up and just grab it. So yeah, I don't mind chucking that up a few times, but I mean, it still doesn't show off the view, does it? So it's a shame. I wanted to do this epic video and show these incredible scenes, but well, I guess I just didn't factor how much the cold would affect my battery performances. So it's a shame, never mind. But yeah, I'll get the smaller drone back up when I get to the next bunch of rock formations. I think the next one's called Salt Cellar, something like that. Again, I've screenshotted them on my phone because I wanted to talk about it as if I was super knowledgeable and I knew everything. But a lot's happened today, and yeah, I just want to get home safely now. I still want to enjoy what I'm doing, but yeah, getting my phone out and giving you a documentary on a bunch of rock formations is kind of dropped to the lowest of the priorities right now. Gotta admit, it's kind of ruining the experience listening to it whir and buzz as I'm walking along. Sure, that'd be funny to play back, but I'm going to pull it down now though, because I can see 3 people up in the distance there, and it's a low flying drone and I don't want to annoy anyone with the whirring and the buzzing, and I certainly don't want to answer the question. If any of you fly drones around, or even just with the controller in an area, why? What is the sudden compulsion that someone must come running over to you while you feel extremely vulnerable and say, how much did that cost? Why do people do that? Anyhow, oh, it's getting deep again now. We've hit the edge now, and now we're heading down back to the reservoir. So there are 3 gentlemen I met just towards the end there. As I was panicking, what must have been 45 minutes ago, about the lack of daylight, and that I kind of need to get a shift on, get downstairs. These 3 gentlemen had just got up and were about to start the crossing. And then after a very quick discussion about how long it's taken me to do the route that way, they made a decision to turn around and follow me back down. However, they are actually ahead of me at the moment because I stopped for a wee. So I'm just basically following them down now to, well, back down to the reservoir and the car. There was me worried about daylight, and we're starting to lose it now. So it's now 10 to 4, so we've probably got 20 minutes of light left realistically, and it's saying I've got 40 minutes left on the route. So I should be getting back to my car in the dark, but luckily I'm now on ground level. I'm on a gravel path and it's an easy route back.
So as you can see, I just managed to make it back. I think it was only dark for about 5 minutes before I got back to the van, so that wasn't too much of an issue. I didn't have any fumbling around in the dark trying to find my way home. It was a shame about the battery life. It was a shame I almost had to cut the hike short, in the sense of, instead of filming and enjoying the day, I suddenly had to get a move on. And yeah, had I, upon recap, I've mentioned it in the video, I would love to go back out in the snow, but I've got to say I'd either do a much shorter walk that ended up being 10 miles and only having 6 hours to do it in the snow. I just ran out of daylight, or definitely have a friend with me on that one. I love the solo hiking, really enjoy it, but I think when it comes to the snow, it's probably advisable to go out with someone else. But I've really enjoyed making this one. I'm going to do more. Hopefully you guys will watch more videos from me as well. Till next time, thanks a lot.